Good evening, everyone. The time is 6:01, and I hereby call this meeting of the Student Government Senate to order. And so we'll begin with a roll call. When I read your name, please say here or present. Gopa. Here. Rolls. Chenoweth. Everhart. Here. Kamstra. Here. Kloppenstein. Here. Hackbarth. Here. Kuehler. Here. Swank. Here. Janes. Reichert. Here. Moisango. Was I close? Much appreciated. Trotter. Jones. Cecil. Eisma. Wellman. Momini. Larson. Pursley. Schneider. And with that, we do have quorum for the evening. Yes? It's been moved to add Senator Chenoweth to the roll. Is there a second on that? Is there any objection to adding Senator Chenoweth to the roll? Seeing no objection, he shall be added. That's got to be the fastest add to roll. All right, and so with that, we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Hackbarth. And so with that, seeing no Senate program for the evening, we'll move into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about any issues relevant to the student body. If there's anyone here tonight for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing no one here for open forum, we'll move on to adopting this evening's agenda. Are there any amendments before we do that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, or Mr. Vice President Lau. The first one is I motion to move 2023-2-038 SD to the top of internal matters. And then I motion to add 2023-2-041 SD, seating Senator PR, 2023-2-042 SD, seating Senator to local affairs, and 2023-2-040 SD, confirming county election commission to after 2023-2-038 SD. And then I also motion to add 2023-0-4-000F, funding after dark cereal barn, and 2023-4-001F, funding equestrian team to do business.
And I'm sorry, can you repeat the second number on that list? The second bill?
New business,
Yes.
2023-4-001F.
Or sorry, the second, was it external matters? Oh, okay, that's very helpful. All right, so it's been moved to amend the agenda so that item 2023-2-038 SD is at the top of internal matters. Yes, and so then adding to internal matters items 041, 042, and 040, and then also adding first read items 000F and 001F. And so that's a little bit of a hefty motion, but is there a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to making those like six motions, or six amendments, excuse me? Seeing no objection, the amendment shall be made. Thanks. Is there a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt this evening's agenda. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, it shall be adopted. And so seeing we do not currently have minutes from the last meeting, and so we'll skip over that item. Starting with committee reports, we'll see Speaker Hackbarth with rules. And if you like, we talked about this earlier, you can share what time your committee is, just for the good of the body.
All right, hello. So rules met this Monday at 6:15. That is our regular meeting day and time. Going forward, we will be meeting in the MU room 2210. So if anybody would like to attend, those meetings are going to be open for you all to come in and sit down and listen to us talk about mumbo jumbo. So Rules only saw 3 bills this week. Most of the bills that we are adding tonight to the agenda, rules, did not see, but that's okay because we didn't need to. We saw the confirmation bill for 2 LAS senators. Evan Martinez was approved by rules several weeks ago, so we did not see him, but we saw Muhammad Azan, if I am pronouncing that right. I hope I am. And he sent me probably 8 paragraphs of really well thought out reasoning as to why he wanted to join student government. So we are really excited to see him up tonight. We also saw the bylaw bill for the IDEA director, which we touched on briefly last week during first read. It is updating our terminology for the DE&I director to IDEA to stand for inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility. The accessibility aspect of the DE&I role was always there, but this is just lending it more visibility. With that, that is all rules really saw, but we hope to see you at maybe some future meetings if you're interested.
And so with that, are there any questions for Speaker Hackbarth or the Rules Committee? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to our report from the Finance Committee with Finance Director Hirsch.
Hi, everyone. Finance Committee met yesterday. Really straightforward. We have a couple bills for you tonight and a debt contract, and then we'll have more kind of information when we get into it a little bit later in the agenda.
Are there any questions for the Finance Committee? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to PR with our Senior Director of Communications.
All right, so we had a meeting on Tuesday. I met with Senator Everhart and my Director of Marketing, Dev. We just kind of went over briefly what we want to, how we want to have our meetings set up from here on out. They will be bi-weekly starting next Tuesday at 7 p.m. We've been using the library conference room, but that may change depending on how many more people we're getting sat in the next 2 weeks. I'm currently interviewing a few at-larges at the moment, and Senator Larson will be getting sat to our committee tonight. So that's it.
And with that, are there any questions for PR? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to our soon-to-be IDEA Committee.
The IDEA committee hasn't met yet, but we're hoping to figure that out soon, and I think we'll have one meeting by the end of next week. And I think.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to student initiatives.
So I'm putting together the first meeting for next week, and I'm just kind of finalizing everyone that's going to be in the committee and meeting with people this week, and then one person next week. So.
Are there any questions for SI? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to local affairs with our ex officio.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I had City Hall yesterday, and they made a series of proclamations, the first being Eco Fair Day, which takes place September 30th. That's this Saturday. It takes place at the Ames City Hall from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and they'll have live music, like food trucks, and just a whole lot of games to play. They also proclaimed it as Pride Fest Day as well. As well as a proclamation that October 2023 would be considered Watershed Awareness Month, which is basically like conservation of like purified water and stuff like that, if that makes sense. And then we had a series of resolutions catering towards sustainability, and the month of October seems to be just catered towards sustainability for the City Hall. And then later tonight, Senator Chenoweth will be set to the Local Affairs Committee. And then we plan on meeting Thursday at 1 p.m. So that's about it.
Are there any questions for local affairs? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Sustainability Committee.
Hi, everyone. My main update is that we are filling the Sustainability Committee tonight. We have 10 at-larges who are very awesome, and I'm very excited for you all to meet them. As far as news, other than that, our first meeting will be next Wednesday at 5 p.m. So if anyone has any questions about that next Senate meeting, I will be able to tell you how it went. That is all.
Are there any questions in the meantime? Seeing none, we'll move on to health and wellness. If our Director of Health and Wellness is here tonight, or if anyone else would like to speak on that committee. I'm sorry, Senator Keeler, go ahead.
Again?
Twice in a row.
Okay, so Director Spahn couldn't make it tonight, so she sent me a brief update. So Party Smart is a week from today at Curtis Lawn East from 11 to 2. And what it is, it's an event put on by Student Government, Health and Wellness Committee, encouraging students to make informed and safe choices about substance use and its impact on their health. Campus partners include Student Wellness, ISUPD, and Rec Services. And we also need all the help you can get. It is an outreach credit, so please go to the Outreach tab on the MIS to sign up, and you will receive an outreach credit. And we're still looking for senators to join our committee. I think we have 2 more spots, so let Anna or myself know if you are interested. That's all. Yield.
Are there any questions for the Health and Wellness Committee or Senator Keeler? Seeing no questions, we will finally move on to legislative ambassadors with our Director of Governmental Affairs.
Hey everyone, my name's Madeline Becker. Update, we've sat 4 people to the committee and we're seeking 3 to 4 more. So we've got 1 interview tomorrow and then looking to add some of you all. So if you're interested, please email me and I'll send you the Google form application. Other than that, we'll be meeting next Thursday at the MU at 6 p.m. if you're interested in joining. Thanks.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from the judicial branch.
So basically all we have is that we're going to be starting to meet on Sundays, and then we're also going to be continuing to do digitalizing our archives, and that is all we have right now.
All right, any questions for the court? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from our advisor.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see so many faces in the room today. I just wanted to say if you've met with me in the month of September, thank you. If you have a meeting scheduled with me in the next few days, thank you as well. I appreciate it. If you are new to the organization, I tried to set up a meeting with everybody in the month of September just to get to know everybody, considering we do have a lot of new faces. And so if you are new within the last few weeks and would like to meet with me, I would very much appreciate it, just so I can say hi and we can chat outside of Senate, because this is a very formal meeting. So if you have any questions or anything, please let me know.
Seeing no questions for our advisor, we'll move on to comments from the executive branch with President Holliday.
Hey y'all, hope you all are having a great start to your week. I wasn't too busy with meetings this past week. I had a Memorial Union Advisory Board Committee meeting, and I also had a meeting to learn about the Strategic Initiatives Advisory Committee. So those are going to be some exciting things to get to continue working on. Vice President Margaret, Governmental Affairs Director Becker, and myself are prepping to go to the Board of Regents meeting tomorrow. We get to have a breakfast with the Board of Regents as well as the other student leaders from University of Iowa and University of Northern Iowa to talk about some things that we would like to see worked on through the Board of Regents for our universities. So excited for that. We're leaving tonight to be in Iowa City tomorrow morning. So then I have a couple of major announcements that I would really like everybody to please pay attention to. The first one is update the MIS. If you haven't updated it yet, please put your information in, as Finance Director Hirsch is going to be ordering name tags soon. If you're being seated tonight, you will be given access ASAP, so you'll be able to put your information in as well. If you have recently been seated to a committee too, I know our speaker and vice speaker would both greatly appreciate it if you go into the MIS again and put in there what committee you've been seated to. Thank you. Second announcement is we're going to have a student government retreat. So get pumped for that. Mark off your calendars, October 28th. It is tentatively going to be held from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Be flexible with that time. We're going to hopefully have it from that time. Lunch will be provided. It's going to be super fun. We're going to learn lots. And it's going to be held in the Ryman Gardens, too. So hope you're excited. Once again, that was October 28th. So please let me know if you have any questions. Time was 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tentatively.
Are there any other questions for President Holliday? Seeing no further questions, we'll move into the business of this evening. Seeing no external matters, we'll move into internal matters, starting with item 2023-2-038SD, confirming nominees for LAS senators with Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, so may the nominees please approach the podium. Evan and Azhan, are you here? Oh, beautiful, perfect, go ahead, sorry. All right, so these are our two nominees for the College of LAS. We've been through some hoops trying to get them here, but we're happy that they're finally here to join us. So I will have you go in the order that you are listed on the bill. So Evan, you'll go first. Give us a brief introduction about why you would like to join student government, and then we will go over to Azhan, and then we will open the floor for questions. So go ahead and take the stage.
Sure. Thank you, Speaker Hackbarth. First, I want to start off by saying thank you to the LAS Council for pushing through my nomination, and for Speaker Hackbarth helping me with all the troubles that we ran into with that. But what I stressed with my statement to the LAS Council is, as a political science student, you know, I don't take the responsibility of representing an electorate lightly. So I appreciate all the work you guys do, and being able to work with you guys this year is going to be something that I value a lot and I'm looking forward to do. And again, as a political science major, something that I value a lot is history. And throughout history, we see that the voices that often spark change are our voices, the voices that we represent, student voices, the voices of the youth. And I think, hopefully I can speak on behalf of everyone here, that representing the youth and having student government be a platform to uplift those voices is a great honor. And I'm, you know, looking for this nomination to get pushed through so we can continue to work together this year. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you, Anna, Speaker, and Vice President Cohen for helping me out all this technical stuff and bunch of and again, thank you for the LAS Council. I cannot see any of these, but that's fine. I just want to say it loud. I go by Azan, and I'm from Pakistan, a little bit background. This is my third year as a graduate student in Department of Chemistry. And as far as the academic background is concerned, I have completed my coursework. So I was thinking how to, use this extra time efficiently. And the only thing that I can think of is to serve the student body. And that's why I'm standing here in front of all of you, because I can think of, oh, that's the best way to use this extra time, because I'm not taking any courses right now. So being an international student and Muslim student, I feel like there are certain things that I can share, different perspective, and all of you can actually use that perspective, and we can work together as a group to come up with different projects that can actually help us to, make the student life more inclusive, or the campus overall more inclusive. So that was the main motivation for signing up as an LAS senator. To be honest, I believe that nobody is perfect, and there's always something to learn from all of you. And I'm super excited to learn from all of you and, just get a different perspective from all of you, and to represent the student body in the Senate, LAS especially. Thank you so much for all. Any questions?
Yeah, and so if that the floor is open for any questions or comments for tonight's nominees. Oh, sorry, Senator Batman? Senator Janes.
So I really like to have fun. So I guess my first question, I'll just start with you, is you talked about being able to bring in different perspectives. So are you interested in the to be renamed IDEA committee, or what other committees? And then the same question goes to you.
Well, I feel like there's special department, diversity and equity, which is dedicated to this, diversity and all. But I feel like the other departments like health and wellness, or, sustainability, which also appreciate a different perspective. So just kind of working together with different ideas and different perspective will help. So it's more about for example, let's talk about health and wellness. There are certain things like physical health, mental health, initiatives are there, but I was thinking about emergency relief fund or something, especially as a student, sometimes the insurance doesn't cover the whole cost. It's 20% you have to pay as a co-payment, right? But in case if you have emergency or like operation going on, but there must be like something from a student government that can actually support the, the whole student body that can apply for it and get emergency relief fund. So these are like different ideas, random ideas. We can talk about, tweak it, and work together.
Right. And nominee Martinez, would you be able to add, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got?
Sorry, what committees are you thinking about?
Oh, yeah. So specifically, the Committee on Finance is something that I've had a lot of interest in. Again, when talking about student government being a platform for the voices of the youth, I think the resources that you guys are granted and the power and influence that you guys have with the school, the Committee on Finance being the wielder of all that, I think that's one of the committees that interests me the most because, being able to hear from students, requesting finance for different projects to uplift their voices and promote advocacy, something that really interests me.
Got it. And then my second question for both of you would be, what's your strategies to stay connected with your constituency, and how are you going to be able to kind of balance all the perspectives you'll be dealing with?
Absolutely. The first one, being a political science major, I feel like so far this year I've done an all right job getting involved with the political science department and speaking with the professors there. They have connections all throughout the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. I am a recent transfer from the University of Iowa, so this is technically it is my first year at Iowa State, so still getting to know a lot of people and, expanding my networking. But I think beginning with the political science department and branching out from there is my path, or it's my plan for the moment.
Got it.
Yeah, so for me, this is my third year at ISU.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so for me, this is my third year at ISU, and I have teaching experience with, I'm currently teaching 2 courses as well, chemistry freshman courses, and it's like a class of 300 students, right? Which actually provide me a different opportunity to actually connect with the students, on a different level. So that's one thing that I can, utilize as well, just asking them, share their input, different ideas, if they have any concern or anything. So that's one thing. As a teaching assistant, I can also use that. I've tiered junior level courses as well as freshman level courses. Secondly, I'm involved in other clubs so far, different clubs on a leadership position. So that's another way to connect within the LAS as well as overall student body. So these were 2 different strategies that I can think of right now.
Thank you, nominees. I yield.
Moving down the line to Senator Everhart.
I always have fun questions for you all.
Thank you.
So my question of the night tonight is, if you were an animal, what would you be?
I'm gonna be panda. That's my spirit animal.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I've actually thought about this question before, and I like to say an owl. I think owls are pretty cool. It's a unique animal. When I hear people get asked this question, I never hear them answer that. Again, I'd probably say it's my spirit animal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I yield.
Call a question.
Is there a second on that? It's been moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments, Speaker Heckbarth. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing these nominees by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion carries. And if you could hang up there for 1 second.
You guys swear you in now. So if you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear or affirm to execute the duties of my position
Execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and laws of the government
and the laws of the government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefits of all students.
Congratulations. And so with that, feel free to have a seat anywhere. We'll move on to item 2023-2-041SD, seating a senator to PR committee with Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Yeah, so this was just a bill I received. Sorry, hold on, let me get pulled up. I realized I pulled it up on my own screen and not yours. My apologies. So yeah, this is just another one of those confirmations of a senator to a committee so that they can start voting and working on projects. So yeah. I'm sorry, I can't remember who. Oh yeah, Senator Larson. If you would like to approach the podium, sorry, I wrote 2 of these, so I couldn't remember which one it was. So Senator Larson, she's gonna give a little brief bit about why she would like to join this committee.
Yeah, awesome. So just to kind of tell you about myself first, since a lot of you are new, my name is Rebecca Larson. I am a senior. I'm a UROC senator. I've been involved in student government since freshman year, and this is my non-consecutive year as a senator in student government. And the reason I want to get involved in PR committee is, for me, PR committee is a way to get students involved in student government. And I know this is something we've been lacking in the past. So what I want to do is, I'm hoping to have a speaker come in from the university and tell us how we can improve our tabling, because I know that's something we struggled in, and tell us how we can improve the enrollment in student government. Because we've been doing the same old tabling, the same old outreach, and it hasn't been working very successfully the last few years. So this is something that I want to try to implement and have a speaker come and talk to us so we can figure out what we're doing wrong and how we can improve on that. Another thing I want to do is, I think it'd be really cool if we got a sign pointing into our office that hangs down from the ceiling saying, like, if you have a problem, talk to your senator, with like a little arrow, because nobody really knows that they have senators. And I think that's a way, you know, maybe like a little neon sign that people can see, you know, to get them talking. Like, I didn't know I had a senator. What is that? Let's follow the arrow, see what's going on. And I just really want to get more people involved in student government. That's just something I'm really passionate about, so.
And so with that, the floor is open for discussion, starting with Senator James.
A motion to add Senator Mohammed?
I go by Azan.
Senator Azan?
Yeah.
And Senator Martinez to the roll.
There's been a second on that. It's been moved to add Senators Azan and Martinez to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be sat.
And then I guess a question for you. I know you touched briefly on improving the tabling and, sorry, I'm trying to remember the other thing, and our recruitment side of things. So I guess, can you kind of further elaborate on those like strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was just an email put out saying, is your club struggling? Come to our event. I don't remember what organization it was on campus. I think it was like the leadership department, and it was just like, revive your organization. And I think it'd be really cool if we had, I was trying to find the email before I came up here and I couldn't find it. But it's some center on campus that tells you about your club, if you're struggling to get participants, and how to improve that. And like I said, I know we have participants, and I know that we also have empty roles in a lot of committees, and we've been doing the same old thing for a long time, and I think, you know, the same old thing isn't working anymore. We need to try something different, and I don't think that the students alone can address what the missing piece is, so I think we need to have somebody come in, tell us, you know, about our organization, and tell us how to get the best candidates to see our information and how to do the best outreach.
Got it. And then my second question would be, like, do you have any prior experience of going into like PR or like projects like that?
Yeah, sure. So I have been super involved on campus in a lot of different things. So I know a lot of people. So I was in Air Force ROTC for 2 years. I'm a CALS council rep for Ag Policy Club. I'm involved in Toyota Younger Student Advisory Board. What else? Have a whole bunch of other things. I've been involved. I've oversaw a whole bunch of projects for all those different clubs. There's a lot of other clubs that I've been involved in, but I'm not going to go in depth in all of them. And I also just really like talking and public speaking, and I feel like this is something I'm really good at. When I emailed about joining PR, I actually emailed a whole list of people, not a whole list, probably like 5 people that I said were interested in joining PR as at-larges, because one thing I'm really good at is talking, and so if you let me talk to any group of people, I could probably get one of them to join student government, because I can figure out what their interests are and how they can tie into student government any level, even if it's not Senate, if it's
the legislative, the judicial, a committee and at large, doing social media, doing finance. It's whatever it is. I'll find out what somebody's passionate about and how they can get into student government doing that.
Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Azan.
Yeah, so you mentioned about like having like a little bit of struggle with like having more participation, right? So have you like, do we have like currently a designated person who runs social media? Like, you know, kind of like promotion or something? So if yes, like, because when I was like looking up, I was struggling to actually find out like all this information. Is it more like Instagram, Snapchat, or like Facebook? Like, can you talk about like social media activities that currently being done?
Yeah, so I actually, for those of you who are new, I actually came in last year during open forum and called out all of student government because I thought they were doing a really bad job on their website, on Instagram, on Facebook of promoting student government in general. And a lot of students don't know about student government, and that's not our fault. I know that we try to table, and I know that we try to get out there, but it's just not working, like I said. And I want to implement a new system, and I think it's PR who does the social media. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure who runs it, but then somebody else different runs the terribly outdated website that we have, and I can't personally change that myself. It's more of a collective type of deal that I don't really know about, but there's a lot of ideas that I can't implement alone, and I know that they're collective struggles that we all know need to improve.
Yeah, just want to like confirm or just comment.
I'm sorry, do you mind using that if
Yeah,
you
sure.
don't mind?
Just press this one.
Yeah, you can press the button down below. Like, yeah, when it's green, it would.
Okay, cool. So just want to, add this thing. Who is responsible for the website? If we can talk about that a little bit and maybe like work on updating the website, that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Is that directed at someone specific or just?
Yeah, I don't know like who's responsible. I'm just like putting it out there.
So
Anyone can take this.
yeah, point of information. The website is currently being worked on. We had to get a director of IT in place first so that he could have, he's the one who has to have his name on the website, or she, sorry, my apologies. She's the one who has to have her name on the website. That's why she doesn't control both. And she is currently working on, and I think we got an update today, no?
If you
Yes.
want to yield to President
Yes.
Holliday.
Yeah. I think this is germane.
Yeah, sustained.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, yeah, we'll move on from that. Do you have anything else you'd like to use your speaking privilege on? All right, your question's been answered. All right. Is there any further discussion? It's moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, closing comments, Vice Speaker Campstra? Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote at this time. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move on to item 2023-2-042SD, seating a senator to local affairs with Vice Speaker Campstra.
My apologies on the last bill. I'm kind of all over the place tonight, so that's on me. I'll be better. But this bill is seating Senator Chenoweth, if you would like to approach the podium. Again, just seating Senator Chenoweth to a committee. So I will give him the floor to talk about why he wants to join the committee, some program or projects he might want to work on, and anything like that. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Vice Speaker Campstra. So a little bit of brief background on me. Dawson Chenoweth, I'm a junior in AST, minor in agronomy. I'll be graduating next fall. This is my first official full year as a senator, so I mean this term here. I grew up in a pretty small town, so in terms of local affairs, it was pretty cut and dry. I mean, I lived in a town full of 50 people, so keeping them connected with the community wasn't all that difficult because they always say if you don't know what you're doing, your neighbor does. So, that's kind of where my that's what kind of brought me to local affairs. I talked with ex officio Clark the night that he was elected, and I expressed my interest to him, and I said, once you get your feet on the ground and you kind of understand what your plan is, if you'd like to set up a meeting with me sometime so we can talk further about what your goals are for this year, I talked to him this last Friday, kind of got an idea about some local civic engagement projects that he's wanting to work on, get the ball rolling with. You know, probably going to be starting out small just to get everything going, get your feet in the door, and let people understand that, you know, we're here and we're willing to put in the work and make things happen. And, you know, that's about it. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's.
The floor is open, starting with Senator Janes.
Yeah, I guess the first question, like, what are some projects that you're aiming for? I know ex officio Clark is kind of focusing on the volunteerism side of it.
Okay, well, we had only talked about one right off the bat, and it has with the local establishments, such as some businesses on Welch, potentially getting some safe words posted in the restroom areas for women and quite possibly men. I mean, I know I stated earlier that, you know, we're starting off small, but in actuality, that could be something pretty big for, you know, anybody that's actually needing help. So, I mean, whichever way you want to look at it. In my opinion, I mean, some nights it may not mean nothing to certain people, but on some very crucial points, it could make a big difference for somebody. So that's all I have right now. I mean, our first meeting's tomorrow at 1. I'm pretty sure he stated earlier, so hopefully got some more for you later.
Got it. I yield.
The floor is open for any further discussion. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate at this time? Seeing none, closing comments with, I believe that's Vice Speaker Kamstra. Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote at this time. UC has been called for again. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. So if that, we'll move on to item 20, sorry, Speaker Hackbarth.
Mr. Vice President, I move to amend the agenda by moving 2023-2-039SG, seating at-larges to Sustainability Committee, up to be before 2023-2-040SC, confirming a nominee to Election Commission, for the reason of Director Miller pointed out that one of the at-larges has class at 7 p.m.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to amend the agenda, so item 039 is at the end of internal matters due to a time conflict. Moved and seconded. Is there any objection to making that, that amendment?
It is moved to before 040, which is our next.
Before 040, excuse me, not
right
the end
now.
of internal matters. But that has been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to making that amendment? Seeing none, it shall be made. And so now we'll move on to item 2023-2-033Y, -2-039SG, seating at-larges to Sustainability Committee with Senator Keeler.
I will yield my opening speaking privilege to Director Miller.
Hi, everyone. So not all of my at-large people who will hopefully be confirmed tonight can make it, so I'll be speaking on their behalf after the people in person do. But I was very impressed with all of these applications. I actually have a few more people that I couldn't add to the committee. We have a diversity of majors, minors, years, ages, and I'm really excited for what we can do this year because they all have amazing ideas and we will hopefully get to action pretty soon. That is all.
And I believe you did have some nominees here tonight who wish to speak?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, we have some here. If they would make their way to the podium, they will ask some questions now. Yeah, all of you. Yes, so we are seating 10 tonight. I apologize for those who are in a hurry tonight to get home and eat dinner. But I'm very excited. So up first is Abby Bergstrom.
Hi. I'm so sorry.
The amendments concerning the names to be filled in. Is there a second on that? Second. Moved and seconded to fill in the names on this bill. Are there any objections to making that amendment? Seeing none, it shall be made. And so we are back on the motion as a whole, and this time is yours.
Hi, my name is Abby Bergstrom. I'm a freshman majoring in environmental science and minoring in biology. my goals for the Sustainability Committee is to focus on recycling in the dorms and on making the dining halls more sustainable. I was also the one who has a conflict at 7, so.
And so this time is yours if you all would like to say something.
My name is Nicholas Michael. I am a pre-landscape architecture in the College of Design. I would like to focus on more plants and living things in the college, and also getting more trash cans on the college.
Hello, my name is Brady Clausen. I'm a senior in biology here at Iowa State. Some of my goals for the committee really are to just give back to the earth we have. We look out the window, we see grass everywhere. Grass makes up the most square footage at Iowa State. Granted, we have one of the top turf programs, grass and turf programs in the whole nation. And so, all that stuff is great. The reality is that grass is one of the biggest pollutants that we have in the whole world, and especially in America, since it's a culture to have, mowed pretty lawns. And so, as you can see out there, people are having fun, and it's great for the grass to be there. But I think it's, time to give some of that back to native prairie that we have here in Iowa, and it'd be great to give back to that ecological system and see that around Iowa State as we are pioneers in science and technology. So it'd be great for us to be ahead of the curve for all of our future students to come. So thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack Harris. I'm a 5th-year senior studying environmental science and climate science from St. Paul, Minnesota. I like to say that I have a interdisciplinary background in terms of tackling climate problems. So I'm looking to involve educational outreach to our sustainability committee, and find ways to tie people's majors, interests, and hobbies to sustainability to make it more understandable and palpable for students on campus to relate to, and hopefully bring some of the knowledge of our other interdisciplinary skills and majors. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maisie McTavish. I'm a senior in environmental science and minoring in agronomy. I've also just added a soil science certificate to my degree, so that's fun. The main thing that I was focused on when I was applying was increasing recycling literacy on campus. So a lot of people throw waste away or recyclable items into the waste bins because they don't know where to put it or don't have access to things, to the information or the places to put it. So it's something I've worked with before, having recycling events in my county. And I think it would help a lot if people actually knew what they were supposed to recycle versus throw away and where to actually do that.
Hello, I'm back. I have some blurbs for some of the people who could not come, and these are written in the first person, so just imagine that I am personifying them. So this is for Amelia Traina. She says, "Hi everyone, my name is Amelia, and I am a junior this year studying environmental science and minoring in horticulture. I am from Joliet, Illinois, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and have a Bengal cat named Matcha. I am excited to be a part of this committee to make sustainable changes to campus and to educate people about what they can do to impact sustainability overall. I look forward to working with you all." So that was for Amelia. And then Kylie Quang, she cannot come tonight. She wanted you all to know that she is currently a senior majoring in architecture and minoring in sustainability. She is from the Des Moines area, so she didn't have to move too far from home. Goals that she has for this year is to see a large-scale project in motion from start to finish. She wants to see more tangible items on campus that students can see and interact with, which I think is pretty cool. And then for Kenneth Thidekill, he goes by Ken. He says, "Hi, I am a junior in environmental science from Northbrook, Illinois. I'm excited to join this committee and hope to find opportunities to reduce waste on campus and educate students about new sustainability initiatives and proposals. I'm excited to get to know everyone, and I'm sorry I couldn't make it today. And he is sick, so he's got a very good excuse for not being here. And then lastly, Isabel Gillette. She goes by Izzy. She's a major in interior design with a minor in sustainability, and she says she is excited to work with everyone and hopes to make worthwhile changes. Thank you all.
And so with that, I believe the floor is open for any discussion or questions for any of tonight's nominees, starting with Senator Everhart.
All right, I'm going to ask you the fun question again. If you were an animal, what would you be and why? Or actually, don't tell me the why. Just tell me what animal you'd be.
I would be a cat.
I know I'm short, but a giraffe. That's what I would be.
I would say king salmon, because they're very sustainable.
I'd be a horse.
All right, moving on to Senator Cecil.
So with sustainability, making action on campus requires working with a lot of different people, and kind of just using the grass example as an example myself. Moving campus to like native prairie would make it very different in terms of view and things like that. So would you be open to working with alternative ideas, not necessarily getting rid of the grass, but changing methods to reduce pollution or things like that? And that applies to varying projects. That's just a good example as why, because I know like facilities likes to maintain what is conventionally pretty as a campus, and a lot of people do not consider a lot of native prairies to be that way, even though it is environmentally friendly. So.
Yeah, I totally recognize that. And like I said, when you look out the window, you see people enjoying the grass, and, it creates jobs for people, and we have turf grass, and all that, that's great. But if you guys go over to ATRB or the molecular biology building, and in between those two buildings, you'll see two patches of prairie. Now, they're not much, and a lot of people don't notice them, and I think that's just a great way to start integrating. We don't need, this whole yard doesn't need to be prairie. I think it just needs to do patches and things like that, and just start small. And I think that'd be the best way to go about it. And also, work with researchers, because, we have so many environmental science majors and everything that can use those prairies for labs and other sourcing of research as well. So, thank you.
Still regarding the grass, I think it's important, just in that specific example, to acknowledge that sustainability means a realm of things, but that's also incorporating the social well-being of the students on campus. So as we look at things that are green or environmentally friendly, we have to also look at, are they economically friendly? Are they going to make people friendlier too? So I think bringing that perspective is going to help us in every scenario.
I would add on, not everything is the right, there's no one thing that is the correct way, and changing grass to prairie is not necessarily the right way. Like this previous candidate said, I don't remember his name, patches could be a great way of doing those things. If we went to different examples, a different way of getting more trash cans, maybe there's a different way of doing that that could be the right way. It's not necessarily one right way, if that makes sense.
So I'm sorry, was that all the candidates that? Okay. So Senator Cecil, do you yield? All right, moving on to Senator Janes.
First thing is motion to remove Senator Wellman from the roll.
It's been moved and seconded to remove Senator Wellman. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be removed.
And for the candidates that brought up recycling as one of their goals, something I was thinking about is I know Ames doesn't recycle, at least from what I've heard last. That's why we don't see recycling bins. So would there be Like, what are your perspectives on like how to get around that and how to work with that while still keeping the sustainability?
So I'm not exactly sure how Ames does its recycling. I do know that in Freddie Court where I live, there is a single recycling bin, so somehow the campus must have a contract with a hauler to take away that recycling bin. Essentially, to further that, we'd have to probably contact whoever is in charge of waste hauling with the campus and campus properties, and then see if we can get bins placed elsewhere, as well as making sure people know that those bins are around.
I'd like to add on that too. A bit of my background of actual just labor work was at the resource recovery plant, just a mile or two down the road at off of Lincoln. So seeing where our trash specifically goes and how it's sorted is interesting to me to understand how the waste stream is managed. So recycling can be viewed as multiple things, although it's burned and has a lot of negative externalities created. We do get electricity out of it too. So I think just I don't know if the city of Ames makes it difficult in terms of outreach, but I don't think they're very clear with how much energy they produce or how much they're really saving. So I wish that maybe as the committee, we can produce a more valid document for campus students to understand like how useful their recycling is or if it's really doing anything.
You know, I think it'd be really important to start to integrate this knowledge of sustainability and recycling to students. I don't think I've ever seen an email reminding people to recycle or throw away garbage in the right garbage cans. And, you know, that's a pretty simple, pretty quick, easy idea just to send out to kids. And, you know, we're all human. We're going to class. We're walking fast. We're not thinking, you know, we throw something away. But if we send out an email or some sort of integration for these kids to know, I feel like subconsciously you'll just start to remember, and I think we'll start to see a change or a wave of that.
As not being from around here in Ames, I also do not know where the recycling goes yet. I do know how the trash, where our trash goes and how that works, and that some of our recycling does get recycled there. If there is a way to get our recycling to go straight to recycling, I think that would be a better option, though.
I yield. Thank you.
All right, moving on to Senator Mominy.
Hi, I'm going to make this quick. It's really just a comment, and you guys have to answer, but I know that there was some concern about pushing the campus to get rid of grass because we love our grass here. I think it would just be worth mentioning that it doesn't have to be all prairie grass. There's other sustainable forms of green that we could put on our campus, like clover instead of grass. So that's just my comment. Thank you.
All right, Senator Gopa.
Some sustainability projects can be really, really expensive. We spent $50,000 on some solar-powered, $5,000? No, 50. Yeah, we spent $50K on trash cans last year. And would you be able to make objective decisions when looking at the sustainability versus financial aspect on some of these major projects?
I personally don't know if I have enough knowledge to really make a full life cycle analysis of anything at this point, but we do have a lot of really, really helpful resources in the professors around us and their knowledge too. So maybe incorporating some of their expertise in terms of the cost benefit of their projects help us as a committee to understand where our use is going.
I currently work in a research lab where we are constantly always trying to put together proposals for money. You know, that's our big thing, always trying to get money for the next project. And recognizing that, you know, we're always asking for large amounts of money as well. I think in this scenario, I think it's important to stay unbiased and allow perspective and just keep an open mind. Allowing someone else's opinion to just to be able to digest in your own brain and sit on it, I think is important, and maybe be able to see their point of view or see the financial side and be able to make that financial or sustainability decision.
I would also say that I'm not well informed on this topic, and I do not know a whole lot on the trash cans. And I think that is where I stand on this topic.
I'm just going to do a quick note. On behalf of those that are not able to be here, obviously I can't put words in their mouth, but I just wanted to say that I'm sure they all have pretty cool responses, but they just couldn't make it today. So I'll go sit down now. Bye.
Cool. I yield.
Senator Rolls.
All right, so I'm the senator on the Sustainability Committee, so I'll try to leave any bias out of this and not expand on it anymore. But one of the main things I talked about with Olivia when I met with her is sustainability is not, at least the committee, is not always about large projects. Like, a lot of it is really small projects that we can do just to help benefit or push recycling or turning off the lights, stuff like that. So, like, if you guys had any ideas on, like, small projects or, like, what do you kind of think about that?
One of the opportunities that I had a couple weeks ago was I was invited through an IRHA event at Wallace Wilson, and we did plantings. They had lots of plants, and the event was you painted a pot, and you then planted a plant, and then you took it home. And it didn't cost anything, just was to get people socializing. And anyway, so I think activities like that to get people more aware of the opportunities that they have and to get them more sustainable and thinking sustainable, I think those would be options that we could take instead of going and buying things or switching permanently to one thing or another.
As I mentioned in my first note, I think that the educational outreach of sustainability is going to be important, and something as simple as like a poster or information booklet sitting in respective majors buildings, something, so computer engineers can relate to e-waste or electronic waste, construction engineers can relate to, OSHA violations, I don't know. But in terms of that, I think it'd be good to relate sustainability to people personally, and then from there transgress that to our action points too.
Similarly, I think that the smaller projects would mostly be revolving around getting information out to people, because it's a lot easier to send an email out to people, and once you start getting people getting the information out to them and they're sort of seeing that kind of everywhere they go, it's something that you're a lot more conscious of when you keep getting reminded about it. And it also doesn't always necessarily have to be this kind of information doesn't always have to be telling you extra stuff like recycling, because I know, again, a lot of people find that it's not very accessible to them. It could also just be fun side projects or things to think about, just so that people are more conscious of it in their daily lives, kind of get into that habit of thinking about sustainability, not necessarily all the time, but more often.
I think simple is, sometimes more powerful than some elaborate plan or anything. So, just simple things like bringing people together on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock so they don't have to get up too early by any means, but, somewhere in there, and, just an hour walk and to go pick up trash or something, that's pretty simple. The most you get out of it is that you get to pick up trash and walk around for an hour. The worst of it, your legs might hurt, but, it's pretty simple. So I think just stuff like that would be great.
Thank you, I yield.
All right, Senator Azan.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to know if you guys did any background research before signing up for this committee, like what has been done so far by this committee in past. If you could talk about that. I just want to curious how much background research you guys did so far. before signing up?
I did not do a lot of background research, I'm going to be honest. I did, though, have a friend last year who was part of the Sustainability Committee, I believe, and who worked on the project for Freddie Court's composting. And I thought that was very admirable, and I was hoping to be able to get involved with something similarly.
I simply heard about the committee through an email that was generally sent to all students. And from there, I really just kind of outreach to some professors that kind of knew about it. And they just stated a lot of small projects were done and that they get a fund of money that they get to decide what they want to do with a little bit. And, pretty superficial on information or research that was conducted for it.
I had previously known about the Sustainability Committee maybe 2 years ago. I looked into it, but now finally have enough time in my schedule to incorporate, or maybe the knowledge base to push me there as well. So thank you, Olivia. Yeah, I looked into a couple of the projects, but for the most part, learning all now.
I did not have very much prior knowledge before signing up, except I did know that the trash cans were part of the Sustainability Committee, and they did they were the reason that we have them. That's about all the research that I did. I didn't do much.
All right, is there any further discussion on this matter? It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments, Senator Keeler. I almost said speaker there for a moment. Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote at this time. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, congratulations to all 10 of you. And so with that, we'll move on to item 2023-2-040SC, confirming a nominee to Election Commission with Speaker Heckbarth.
All right, will our nominee approach the podium? Perfect. Okay. So this was a request from Election Commissioner Clayton. He sent me an email today around 2 o'clock asking if we could get Kylie in, seeing as they would like to go from being archived to being an active organization. So with that, Kylie, give us an introduction and talk about why you want to be a part of Election Commission.
Okay, hello. My name is Kylie. I am currently a sophomore majoring in marketing and international business, and I'm minoring in Spanish and management. And for me, I wanted to join the election committee because it's something I haven't really done before. It's completely new and unknown. So I felt like it would push me out of my comfort zone and be a really good way for me to gain confidence in leadership, which is what I want to do in my career, be in like manager and director roles.
And so with that, the floor is open for discussion, starting with Senator Janes.
Yeah, I guess my first question is, you did state that you don't have prior experience in something similar to this, but one thing is going to be conflict management and dealing with people kind of giving you two sides of a story, I would assume, down the line. But how would you deal with that, and do you have any prior experience with that skill?
Can you repeat that, please?
Like, you're going to probably be dealing with a lot of like conflict management and like knowing roles. So like, do you have prior experience with that, like that specific skill set?
Not really. I don't have any prior experience with that.
Got it. I guess the other thing is you're going to have to know the rules deeply for this position. Do you have experience in kind of rule maintaining and stuff like that, and like reading through a lot of documents?
No, I do not have any prior experience with that, but I feel like it's something that I can learn on the way and definitely immerse myself into.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess just the last question is, I'm assuming based on like that they would need a treasurer, I'm assuming you might be taking the treasurer position for that. Do you have experience going through the COA system or treasurer system, or are you going to be living?
No.
Wait, would that not be? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies. Yield
No,
the question.
no.
Then I yield my time.
Senator Gopa.
Yeah, okay. So election commission works the most during February. So would you be able to answer all the emails any senator makes, any candidate makes during that month?
Yes, I feel like I will be able to answer.
Okay, that was a big problem last year, and that's the main thing we need, honestly.
Right.
And yeah, that's it. I yield.
Senator Azan.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you don't have experience, but the question for you will be what kind of skill set you have right now that you think can help you in this position?
I feel like for me, I've had a lot of past experience with marketing, and I know a lot of other students on campus don't really know what student government is or even election commission. So I feel like my assets will be valuable of a way of, getting it out to the students. And, Shane and I talked about kind of like getting more followers on the Instagram and like having it be more engaging for students.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, and with that, the floor is open for any further discussion. Seeing, call to question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate at this time? Seeing none, no closing comments on this. We'll move into a vote at this time. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, congratulations. And so with that, we'll move on to item 2023-2-033Y, updating the bylaws to current idea objectives. In the absence of Senator Mahoney, that item will go to co-author Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Yeah, so reminder, last week we encouraged you all to read this. This is essentially changing a lot of the wording in the bylaws to reflect a more consistent title being idea. In the past, it was a mixture between DEI and also student diversity. So this is clarifying and fixing all of the bylaws to read idea in there, and also clarifying what idea means in the bylaws, I believe is the gist of it. So anybody else want to make a comment on the bill? If not, that's all I got, and I'll open it. Leave it to.
Floor is open. Is there any discussion? Senator Swank.
There you go.
Okay, so my only worry, I work with diversity, equity, inclusion a lot with my major. My only concern is that people aren't going to know what IDEA stands for, but people know what DEI stands for usually, in a day-to-day conversation. So that's my only concern. But adding accessibility to it is that's good, but I didn't know what IDEA was at first either. It's just a comment. So.
All right, so moving on to Senator James.
So, I read through it, just to clarify, I know you said it. This will only be changing just the title. There will be no change of duty/responsibilities. Okay. I yield.
Senator Azan.
Yeah, so I want to agree because it's kind of confusing when the word idea is said because, idea means creative idea, it's kind of confusing to be honest. So I do agree with this thought of I.
All right, Senator Trotter.
I'd just like to comment on the idea that you're changing the name, but as I believe, I don't actually know your name yet. Senator James mentioned of if you can change the name, but if you don't fundamentally change what the organization is, you're just playing Potemkin games, and that's not really a good use of our time. I yield.
Senator Gopa.
So would this be a change to the Constitution? Oh, okay. That's and also have you talked to PR committee about promoting IDEA and we're changing DEI to IDEA? So have you talked to PR about it? Because that would be a
So this is just changing it to IDEA to bring light to the fact that accessibility is a part of DE&I. It is not something that we have talked about with PR yet. It is something that is in the plan, is to introduce it, especially as, obviously we don't want students to be confused and be like, idea, what does that mean? Like, they're creative, that's great. This is a change that we would like to announce, but we have to get it through the bylaws first before we can officially say, we have an idea director. But no, this is something that we will talk to PR committee about.
So if this bill does pass today, can we like change the name of IDEA later on, or like to make it more? Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Senator Momini.
Hi, y'all. I don't think that there's any issue with making a new acronym. That's all that it is an acronym, and if you don't know an acronym, you learn it. It's just a new acronym that is more inclusive. So I don't think that's something that we should be scared of or something that we should reject the idea of learning something new, especially if it makes people feel more included on our campus. If we can add an A for accessibility, then it's just a new name, and things get new names all of the time. So I guess that's just my comment for the concerns that people will be confused. That's just what the purpose of learning is for. So thank you. I yield.
Speaker Heckbarth.
I would also like to echo what Senator Momini just said. This is purely a new acronym. It is designed to highlight a population of our students that may have not felt seen or might not have known where to turn when they have concerns about student accessibility here on campus, whether that is for the classroom, whether that is for our sidewalks, anything along those lines. This is not changing anything that the director does. These roles and these responsibilities were already delineated by our bylaws and our Constitution that the director of DE&I formerly would deal with accessibility issues. This is simply bringing it to light and giving those students a voice and a face to go to so that they are no longer left in the dark wondering, if I have accessibility concerns, who do I talk to? So it is just an acronym. That's it. With that, I yield.
Senator Cecil.
Sorry, I don't want to repeat things that have already been said, but the reason that we're changing this name is not so much so that it displays differently than what it does. It better describes the committee, so it's a more accurate name, and the name that has been being used, while this doesn't change responsibilities, just didn't include all of the responsibilities, and if we include some, we should try to include all. So that's the idea behind this.
Senator Larson.
Just because I don't know much about this, were there active students that were coming saying that they weren't sure about if accessibility fell under this, and like what was the reason for wanting to change it? I know that we want to be more inclusive, but was there concern that the committee wasn't already being inclusive and wasn't already putting out there that it was for accessibility as well? Because I know that's already something that the organization falls under for D&I without having the A in it.
If that's a point of information, I can take that.
Yeah.
Or if you'd like to yield to President Holliday.
Hi, okay, so with IDEA, so in the bylaws, I just wanted to note that accessibility is noted as a point of subject for the DE&I currently known director to pay attention to. Plus also with state legislation that may or may not be in the works. DEI is a huge concern, and that's how do I put this in nice terms? A controversial acronym in the world of politics at the moment, and we would like to keep our committee that focuses on all things related to what it currently is focused on, and so we're just working on trying to find ways to make sure that that doesn't get taken away.
Speaker Heckbarth. Oh, I'm sorry, I'd assumed that you'd yielded. Yeah. Is that correct? Okay. Speaker Heckbarth.
I would also like to point out that we are not the only organization making this change. I believe GPSS, which is the Grad Student Constituency Council, they are also moving forward with this wording and acronym change to be more reflective of the role of their DE&I director as well. So don't be afraid that we're going to look crazy out here because we're changing an acronym.
Floor is open for any further discussion. Seeing none, it's been called for and seconded to end debate. Vice Speaker Camstra, closing comments?
First of all, good debate. I'm glad you guys all brought up comments and stuff like that regarding concerns that you had with the bill. I won't echo anything that anybody said, but I encourage you all to, in the future, read bills in their entirety. This is a lot of good information about our director in general. If this passes, director of IDEA. With that, that's all I got.
And so if that, we'll move into a vote at this time. When I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Gopa. Yes. Rolls. Chenoweth. Yes. Everhart. Yes. Camstra. Yes. Kloppenstein. Yes. Hackbarth. Yes. Keeler. Yes. Swank. Yes. Janes. Yes. Reichert. Yes. Trotter. Yes. And I'm sorry, could I get your last name one more time? I want to get this right.
Moesango.
Moesango?
Yeah.
Close enough? I'm sorry.
Moesango.
And what's your vote?
Sorry?
Yes, no, or abstain?
Yes.
Jones? Did I not hear a Jones? All right. Oh, excuse me then. Cecil? Eisma? Momini? Larson? Persley? Schneider? Azan? And Martinez? And so with a unanimous vote of 21 to 0 to 0, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move into tonight's new business. For our senators just joining us, new business items are ones that we will read this week and actually vote on next week, unless there is a motion to waive first read, which we can do on a bill-by-bill basis. And so we'll start with item 2023-4-000F, funding a cereal bar for After Dark with Senator Janes.
If the representative for After Dark can move up to the podium while I explain. After Dark came to us to request us to fund a cereal bar. They were unfortunately unable to attend our finance meeting, so we do have some additional questions for them, explaining some like the cost of things, and then also due to the event coming on the 29th, we would move to waive first read for this.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to waive first read on this item. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, first read shall be waived.
Okay, and I yield the rest to After Dark.
Hi, I'm Teresa Stolfus. I am a brand new advisor to After Dark. I am in my 2.5 week here at Iowa State, so I know almost as much about After Dark as you do. In fact, you probably know more because you've probably been to one.
I'm Christine Heflin. I've been serving as the advisor at After Dark. Ordinarily, our students would attend this meeting. They just, with work schedules and co-ops and other things, we didn't have anyone that could attend tonight. So we will do our best to answer your questions about the funding bill.
So if that, the floor is open for discussion. We can now go beyond questions of intent because we've waived first read, starting with Senator Gopa.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Doesn't After Dark already have funding? Like 220 grand of funding?
Yeah, so we have funding through the annual allocations from student government, but that does not cover food. And so we're coming to ask for funding from a different account to help cover food for this particular event.
Okay, and would the total of this bar be $2,000, or are you looking at other sources of funding for it?
So it's a do you want to send the pictures around too so you can see kind of what it looks like?
Wow.
So it's a company that will come in and do this. They work with not-for-profits, so they're asking for funding to help cover some of the costs. So this actually would not cover all of their costs. They would be footing part of the bill. So this would be a portion of the cost that it takes to do this cereal bar for the students.
So all of this $2,000 would just go to...
Go directly to doing this, yeah,
Okay.
this activity.
And
The milk is being donated by Midwest Dairy, who's also sponsoring this, but there are other costs.
how many cereal bars are we getting? Because
So
they
it-
usually run out pretty quick, the other events.
Yeah, so they're planning to bring enough food to serve 500 students. And it's, they would get a cup, a reusable cup that then they would fill with cereal and then their milk product.
Cool.
Yeah, it's some people think of cereal bar like a Nutri-Grain bar. That's not what this is. It's actually a bar where you would, so it's kind of like, it's an alcohol alternative event. So it's not an alcohol event, but you can pick your mix of cereals, and then they have like martini shakers. They'll put the milk in, so there's bartenders at. So it's more than just like passing out food. It's actually kind of an experience, which is something we haven't done before at this event.
Point of information, so shouldn't the bill say cereal bar, not cereal boxes? That's what I'm confused about. For like the line item?
No, this is a cereal. They're gonna get bowls of milk with cereal in it.
Can I answer that question? Because I authored it. Point of information, so clarification, when I read through the initial document sent, they were covering the milk, and it seemed from the document since we were going to help cover the cereal. After might be able to explain that, but from the document that I received from the company that you're working with, that's what I got the clarification. That's why I said cereal boxes.
I think that's correct in partially. So the milk is being donated, so it's the cereal and the products, like the cups that it'll serve in. So it's not just the cereal, but it's the cereal and then the cups that it'll serve in that it's providing. Is that?
After Dark is not purchasing those things directly, though.
Yeah,
The money
right.
would go to our vendor to then purchase what they need. So it's kind of like hiring a company to do, like we're doing a paint splatter room with some of our other money. It's kind of a similar thing.
Right.
And so for future reference, if you do want to change the wording on a bill in a way that does not change the intent, you can offer a friendly amendment that the author can then accept. So at any point, if you wish to do that. Senator Cecil.
So I'm on Finance Committee, and when we saw this, there was a lot of confusion, and we did some math. So to be clear, this is not purchasing the cereal, because if that was the case, it's like 1,000 pounds of cereal. So this is to pay for a company to facilitate this, correct?
Yeah, pay for part of the cost of it.
Okay. So then I would offer that amendment as a friendly to change it from cereal
Yeah.
boxes to the appropriate term.
Can I do that, or?
Yeah, if you accept the friendly.
Oh, yeah, I accept it.
And so I do apologize. I skipped off of Senator Gopa there. I thought you had yielded. Do you have anything you wish to add? Okay, I'm so sorry. Moving on to Senator Azan.
Yeah, I'm just curious, why did you guys pick cereal? Is there any specific reason for that? Did you get like feedback from students, or what was the motivation of picking cereal? Is there any specific, reasoning
I'll
behind
let you,
that?
since you work
Why
with
not
the
something
students on the
else?
decision, yeah.
Yeah, so really how this happened, but Winterfest worked in partnership with this company last year because they do work for Midwest Dairy. So their goal is to get dairy in front of like more college students, say, right? So last year they sponsored some cookies and milk and the photos with Santa at Winterfest. So they came back and said, we'd really like to partner with you again. How can we get dairy to one of your events? And they did this same event at the 8035 Music Festival this summer. That's what the photos are from. And they thought it would be a fun event. So the Rip Roar, the vendor, came to us and said, we'd like to do this on behalf of Midwest Dairy. And we're always trying different kinds of food, so we thought it sounded fun.
Yeah, so since you guys are actually promoting the company on campus, so ideally it should be sponsored majority of the part by the company because you are actually promoting their product. So I'm just, concerned about why it's not being covered pretty much, by the company because you again promoting the company on campus. So did you guys talk about this, the finance thing with the company?
Yeah, just because there's a lot of cost to it. So they asked us if we had funding to help out, and we said we would see if we could.
So what percentage is being covered by the company?
I don't know what the full cost is. Honestly, the vendor hasn't given us a breakdown for the full cost of everything, because some of the things they already have built, like the bar pieces and things. So I honestly don't have that information.
Are you?
Vice Speaker Kamstra.
So, do you know how many people attend After Dark?
I have to find the right page. So over the last year, obviously, we didn't have the August one, so we have numbers from the last academic year. And it looks like the The door counts between 9 and 1 for the August one were just under 4,000 people. And September was over 2,000. November was just under 1,500. January was over 2,000. February was just over 1,500. And then the March one was just over 1,100.
And that's per event?
Correct.
Okay, so 4,000 people at one event.
Correct.
Okay. So how many are they planning on serving as a company?
They're coming with enough to serve 500 students.
500 students, okay. For now, I will yield.
All right, Senator James.
Just as a quick question, did you guys go to the event funding board before coming to student government?
We did not. They are not quite up and functioning yet this year. Student engagement had a lot of staff turnover over the summer, so they haven't opened for requests yet. So because of the timing of our event, we weren't able to make a request through them.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Momini.
I have a couple of questions. First would be, I don't want to assume, but is this free for the students? Yes? Okay. And then if you guys have anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 people show up, like, why was 500 the number that was decided?
Couple of reasons. Honestly, at our past events, we've prepared for about 500 servings when we have funding for food, because we don't want to have a lot of food left over, and we've had a limited budget from the funds that we could raise or get allocated. So we said, this is what we have until it's gone. With this particular one, because they customize it for each person and there's like an experience, they did some math for us. They're bringing 3 bartenders, if you will, and that's about the number of people they can get through in 3 hours. So that there's a limited number of people that can actually get through the experience.
Okay. I yield. Thank you.
Senator Trotter.
I'll admit that this seems a little unique to me. Did anyone go through the trouble of considering how difficult it would be to just do it in-house? Just get together some volunteers and buy, I don't know, a few, even $100 worth of cereal directly and just do it that way? Because it seems like we're spending a great deal of money and a great deal of effort to bring in this experience, as they say, which is, I feel like there's just a lot of weirdness to it.
Honestly, no, we didn't consider doing it ourselves. We have done that in the past, but there are a lot of food safety laws too, so we've always used a licensed restaurant. So like last year, and I think it was March, we did tropical smoothies, and so we purchased enough for 500. We've done insomnia cookies. Honestly, After Dark has an exec board of 7 students and roughly 10 to 20 more that volunteer in our events, so we just right now don't have the capacity probably to do it ourselves either.
Okay. I yield.
Back to Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Since we had to waive first read, I just have a question about when was this all kind of decided?
Yeah. So we started working on it, honestly, over the summer with the company. We did a walkthrough, it was before Teresa started, so probably at least 3 weeks ago, we kind of walked the space to figure out what was going to work. We had originally been talking with them about our November date, so we thought we had a lot more time to plan. And when they came to do a site visit, they were like, actually, we have a conflict. Can we do September? Can we make it work? And we were like, maybe. So I think the funding request was submitted at least a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, but there was some hurdles with getting enough information to Finance Committee and getting it on the agenda. So yes, it was a little bit rushed. Part of it was because the date changed kind of as we were working on it.
Yeah, okay. That was just kind of my concern, because I feel like a lot of what we've discussed now could have been discussed in the week that we had to discuss it after first read. So that's just kind of my frustration as the advisors. First, also, I would like to thank you for coming tonight and answering our questions, because we have a lot of them. So thank you as advisors for taking time out of your night to do this. But I would just like to encourage that this try to be avoided in the future. That's all I have. I yield.
Senator Larson.
Okay, I personally love this idea. I love cereal, but I do have some questions about it. So I'm gluten-free. Are they planning on having gluten-free cereal and or milk or alternatives? Do you know?
I don't know that we've asked about the gluten-free. They are having lactose-free milk, so lactose-free milk will be an option. I don't think we specifically asked about the gluten-free. That's an exceptional question, though.
We could ask.
We can ask, yeah,
Yeah.
we can ask.
Is Lucky Charms already gluten-free? I feel like that might be one of the ones they're already gonna buy. So you might be okay then. There won't be any non-dairy milk because it's sponsored by Midwest Dairy, unfortunately, but they will have lactose-free milk, so
something.
We'll move over to Finance Director Hirsch.
And then I just wanted to add really quickly, as far as voting for this bill, I don't think kind of the time sensitivity on it should be a factor, because I think there was some miscommunication errors on both sides and how we're going to work to address this moving forward. But I don't think that should be a determining factor, voting yes or no for this bill. And I just want to add that. I know Christine, Rebecca, and Piper have also been very proactive, and we're working on this, and it won't happen again.
Senator Martinez.
So I guess I don't really have a question, more of a comment. Well, one question. Are you guys volunteers?
us?
Yes.
We're full-time employees in the student engagement office.
Okay,
But we're
okay.
the advisors for the organization.
Okay. And then I guess another thing I wanted to add, to echo you, the Vice Speaker, thank you for taking all of our questions. And again, to echo the Senator over there, I think the idea is great. The message you guys are spreading, the whole spin on, the alcohol thing, I think is very clever and pretty cool. But again, thank you for reaching out to the company and planning this all. I think it's great for students.
Speaker Heckbarth.
All right, yeah, thank you for being here. I know it's been kind of a long night, so we appreciate you hanging around for this. So this company, just to clarify, we were originally going to have them come later in the year. Did you say October? Is that correct?
So we do three events per semester. When we started talking to them, it was too close to our August event, which got canceled anyway because of the power plant fire, so.
Love that.
So our other events scheduled were September 29th and November 10th, because we schedule like a year and a half out. So our dates were set, and they originally said, yeah, November will work for us. And then when they showed up, they were like, how about in 3 weeks? And we were like, maybe.
Okay, so they were originally going to do the further out date, and then that just didn't happen, so this is a request on their part?
Yeah, I don't know what their conflict is, but their company had a conflict.
Perfect, and so just to clarify, there are, technically speaking, no other dates that they could do?
We could look at the spring, potentially.
Okay, but for this semester?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you, I yield.
Senator Azan.
Yeah, so I just still have comment on the cost of this cereal. Did you guys actually get the code from MU Catering or within in-house, free food or snacks for the student and compare the cost that you are getting, from MU Catering compared to this external company? Because I'm still concerned with the cost of the cereal. So maybe if you have compared these different rates, can talk about this.
Yeah, we did not for this specific event. Last year when we were looking to bring food back to After Dark, we had some funding from Event Funding Board. We have some other sponsorships coming up, so we have some funding coming in. So we had contacted ISU Catering because we know that they have the first right in this building to kind of see what they could do and what the cost would be. Most of the time, they have declined to cater this event because it's from 9 o'clock to midnight on a Friday night, and they don't have staff that wants to work that. They have put a few options together for us, and they have frequently been in the $5,000 to $7,000 range. So they're much more expensive, as some of you who are members of student organizations might know. So it's actually kind of worked out better for us to be able to do our own thing on Friday nights when we can.
Thank you. Senator James.
I just want to speak. I have a unique past of After Dark. I was a treasurer last year, so I do know. I want to speak a little. I know that they would have gone through the proper channels and through the proper way if Event Funding Board was open, because that's what I had to do when I was treasurer. So I just want to speak on their character because I understand this gives them a unique look. And then for the perspective of the pricing to help answer, in addition, When we did pricing, when we brought Panda Express in again, it was around the exact same cost as this. So this is in the realistic realm of pricing. I didn't know about the external, so that helps it, but just to give you more awareness that when it comes to bringing food to After Dark, it is something that is aware, and they can talk more about, because I know they do surveys, but I know this is something that students very much appreciate coming to After Dark events. It's one of the #1 things that we had students request was having food at the events.
Senator Cecil, or Keeler, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, you put it down. You were on my list, okay? Now Senator Cecil.
Yeah, just to alleviate some of that concern, this would not be just purchasing food. Again, if it were, that would be a substantial amount of cereal. If you bought the cheapest one, that's like 2 pounds per student. So, but this is an experience, so you have like utensils and cups and things like that that are also part of the cost. So it's not necessarily just the food, it's also the whole portion of it that we would be supporting to enhance the student experience. So, thank you.
So with that, the floor is open for any further discussion. That's been moved and seconded to end debate. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing no objection, closing comments, Senator Janes?
Do you guys have anything else?
I guess I would add a couple of things. I know people have talked about the experience of After Dark. There's a couple other reasons beyond student demand why we want to bring food back, especially as advisors. It is an alcohol alternative event, so the idea was that maybe instead of going out and partying on a Friday night, students might come to After Dark, or they might come to After Dark for a little bit and then leave and go do something else. But if they have some food in their stomach, that's a harm reduction measure as far as alcohol use by students. We also know there's a lot of food insecurity on this campus, and where we can provide a free meal, I think that's something that we strive to do as well. So those would be my only other comments to add.
Right, and with that, seeing as this is a finance bill, we will move into a roll call vote at this time. So when I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Gopa. Yes. Rolls. Chenoweth.
Yes.
Everhart. Yes. Campstra. Yes. Kloppenstein. Yes. Hackbarth. Kuehler. Yes. Swank. Janes. Reichert. Oh, do we not? We have not removed Reichert from the roll, unfortunately. Trotter? Yes. Yeah, we'll move him down. Moisango? Jones? Jones left, excuse me. Cecil? Yes. Eisma? Yes. Momini? Larson? Persley? Yes. Schneider? Yes. Azan? No. Martinez? Yes. And so we'll then go back to Speaker Hackbarth. Abstain. We'll circle back if Reichert is here during this vote. I'm sorry, who else did we move down? Momini, excuse me? Unfortunately, we didn't remove him from the roll ahead of time. It would have been great if we'd noticed that, but unfortunately, he just didn't vote, given the opportunity. My understanding is that we can't do that during a vote, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would entertain that motion. Yes. Yes, and so I'm going to go ahead and count the votes on this. If he returns before I'm done with that, he can cast his. And so seeing as though he has not yet returned, with a vote of 14 to 2 to 4, the motion carries. So with that, we'll move on to item 2023-4-001F, funding rental equipment for the equestrian hunt team with Senator Janes. I'm sorry, did you have something to add, Senator Gopa? It's been moved to remove Senator Reichert from the roll. Moved and seconded. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be removed. And Senator Janes, your opening.
Yeah, so this club came to us for funding requests for some rentals. They are funding eligible, and they answered all our questions when they came to us. Do you have something to say, Senator Cecil?
It's been moved and seconded to add Senator Reichert back to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be re-added.
And then I'll yield the rest of my time to the club themselves.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Victoria and I'm the president of the Iowa State Equestrian Hunt Team. So some background for people who may not know what we're about. We are part of the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association. So we work with other colleges who also have teams, and we all train and compete throughout the season and go to shows to represent Iowa State at. Currently, we are 1 out of 2 schools who are competing within our region. Regions are consisted of about at least 12 schools. So us, along with UW-Madison, are the only schools that are able to substantially afford and host a show due to our numbers and our funding that we receive. So our team currently consists of about 22 riders. We bring in horses throughout the semester that we fundraise for and our teammates pay for to sustain through boarding, feed, and other costs like that. However, when it comes to our horse shows, because of the greater cost that it is, we do not have the funding to cover it ourselves. Therefore, we're coming in front of you guys to ask for this funding. Due to some increase in cost of facilities, horse feed, etc., we are asking for an increase in prices. So, if you want to go ahead.
So for the facility rental, we are asking for $1,400. That is an increase than what you guys would have seen last year because the facility did increase its prices since we've last been at the facility. The same goes for stall prices. We're asking for the amount of $1,200. Again, the facility increased the prices per stall per horse. And then our jump rental also increased since the last time you would have seen us. So we asked for a third of that at $660 because we have to have IHSA compliant jumps, and so we have to have a company bring those jumps in.
And these shows are important for our riders to be able to accumulate points and represent the university on a higher level of competing. Without these shows, we are unable to move our riders into higher level of competing, such as regionals at the end of the season. And we currently are going to be hosting 3 shows. In the past, we've only hosted 2, so there is an increase in cost in that as well.
And so with that, seeing as this is a new business item, on first read, we are open for any questions of intent, i.e. yes or no questions. Starting with Speaker Hackbarth.
I move to waive first read.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to waive first read. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, first read shall be waived. Ignore what I just said about questions of intent and feel free to have any discussion you wish. Still with Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, 2 things. First and foremost, competition is spelled wrong. So I'm going to throw that as a friendly to you, Senator Janes, and while you're fixing that, I just wanted to vouch for the Equestrian Hunt team. We have funded them before in the past. They have been a pretty steady supporter of student government. I know I consistently see on their social medias of posting oh, we were funded by student government. I know the men's rugby team does it as well, so they have my support, and I will be voting yes. With that,
Floor is open for any further discussion. Has been moved for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate at this? Has been moved to remove Senator Swank from the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be removed. And so I believe there was a call to question and it had been seconded. There was no objection to ending debate at this time, so closing comments with Senator Janes.
Do you guys have anything else? Then no.
All right, so seeing as this is a finance bill, we will again go into a roll call vote. When I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Gopa. Yes. Rolls. Yes. Chenoweth.
Yes.
Everhart. Yes. Kloppenstein.
Yes.
Hackbarth.
Yes.
Kuehler. Yes. Janes. Yes. Reichert.
Yes.
Trotter.
Yes.
Moisango.
Yes.
Jones. Excuse me. Cecil. Eisma. Wellman. Excuse me. I keep calling people who are not on the roll. Larson. Persley. Schneider. Azan. And Martinez. Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Campstra, excuse me. Momney, I'm so sorry. My list is a mess. Hold on a moment, please. And so if I'm not mistaken, I believe I've called everyone's name, just so my list is correct. All right, and so with a vote of 20 to 0 to 0, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Speaker Hackworth. It's been moved to add Senator Swank back to the roll. Is there a second on that? Second. Moved and seconded. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be sat. And so with that, we'll move on to the final action item of this evening, item 2023-4-002F, confirming debt contract for Disc Golf Club with Vice Speaker Campstra.
I know, that's the second time tonight. Yes, so this is just another finance bill. They're requesting funding. Actually, I'm going to yield to Martin, our Director Martin Hirsch, so that he can talk about what a debt contract is for everybody that's new.
Basically, the way a debt contract works is that student government allocated a money last year, and it was misappropriated, which basically means money was allocated for a certain line item. They didn't spend it within that line item, and so COA has found this discrepancy, lets me know, lets our treasurer know, and so there's kind of two options. Student government's getting that money back. Either they're going to put it on a student's U-bill, and the student's going to be forced to pay that, and that's going to be the treasurer of the organization, or the organization is going to enter into a debt contract where they have a certain time frame where they have to pay back the money that was misappropriated. And so for disc golf, I want to say Jamie, our COA, has nothing but good things to say about Keith. He's been very proactive in this whole process, figuring out how they're going to come up with the money to pay back student government. He's been really good with me, sending me emails, following up with everything, making sure that that contract's happening. And so as of right now, it's $2,800, right? Yeah, $2,800, almost $2,900 that was misspent. And now we have a program where they're going to be able to repay it back to student government. So Keith?
Yeah, so the Disc Golf Club is, I guess just a little bit about it. We're a club that I'd say our main purpose is just organizing events for Iowa State students to get together and play disc golf at mostly the course on the north end of campus that's run by the university, but we play other places as well. But another major thing that we do is we are Iowa State's team in college disc golf. So we travel and play against other schools, culminating with the national championship in North Carolina. And out of those two things, the traveling is the one that costs money. So last year I was the treasurer as well, but the president, who had been treasurer before, didn't do the greatest job of explaining to me how I was supposed to do the whole thing, and I didn't do a good job of learning it myself. And we kind of ended up in a hole because we spent a lot of money on the travel that we didn't really fundraise for as much as we thought we were. And we just didn't notice the discrepancy until it was too late. And at that point, now we need a debt contract. So, yeah.
So with that, the floor is open for any questions of intent, i.e. yes or no questions, starting with Vice Speaker Campstra.
Can I motion to waive first read?
You can.
Motion to waive first read.
It's been moved and seconded to waive first read on this item. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, first read shall be waived.
So just to clarify, this is just to approve the contract and not send it to the U-bill. So that's what this is. So that's all I have. I yield.
Senator Azan.
So just out of curiosity, the amount will be sent it to the treasurer or like throughout the club members, like the amount that has been misplaced or misused. Treasurer. Okay, so, and you were the treasurer, right?
Yeah, I'm the
treasurer. So you can talk about like, can you like talk about a little bit the misplaced part? Like, where do you guys use?
Yeah, so the money that we were allocated was the budget that was made by the previous treasurer included, I think, like 8 or 9 events. So we got this big lump of money for traveling to events, but we didn't end up going to that many. So we, had this big chunk of money that was for traveling that we had, but since we only went to one event, almost all of it went, or we only went to 2 events, so almost all of it got brought back. So it was money that was spent on travel expenses that were not allocated for that specific event.
And everything is like approved by office, right? CO office, right? SWE. Yes, sorry.
Like all of the.
All the purchase, like receipt or whatever.
Yeah, so they were all through the P card, and then we submitted the
P
receipts,
card,
and they were
yeah.
approved.
Thank you.
Has been moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Is there any objection? Seeing none, closing comments, Vice Speaker Campstra. Seeing no closing comments, as this is a finance bill, we will again go into a roll call vote. And so when I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Gopa. Rolls. Chenoweth. Everhart. Campstra. Kloppenstein. Hackbarth. Kuehler. Swank. Janes. Reichert. Trotter. Moisango. Jones. Excuse me, Cecil. Eisma. Momini. Larson. Pursley. Schneider. Azan. Martinez. Going back to Senator Gopa. And so with a vote of 21 to 0, the motion carries. All right. I guess we're clapping for that. All right, and so with that, we have completed our business for the evening, but please do not start packing up yet. We will go into closing announcements for a moment. Is there anyone who would like to give a closing announcement, starting with Senator Everhart?
Yeah, just something really quick. Today, whenever I was doing my office hours, I started working on like a preference sheet for what you guys want to see on our apparel order. Just really like t-shirt color preferences and like any extras if you wanted those on there, like keychains, so on and so forth. I am going to finish that up tonight, and it should be sent out tomorrow into the teams somewhere.
Senator Gopa.
There's a blood drive going on. Make sure to sign up, donate some blood. That's good.
All right, Senator Larson.
So as we kind of heard, After Dark is happening on Friday, and it was the one that was canceled, so I'm super excited because they're having bingo. I love bingo, and that's happening this Friday from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., and, now we're going to have a cereal bar, so should see everybody there.
Senator Trotter.
Apologies. Just noting that IRHA is tomorrow, so if anyone has anything that needs to be brought up there, I'm available to mention it, as are the other IRHA senators.
Senator Swank.
Just a note that Pride Fest this weekend is for Ames from 10 to 5 downtown.
Sophie.
Hello, if you are new to the organization, please see me after the meeting so I can get your email address so I can add you to all the things. So, thank you.
All right, so just for clarity, you have ended your, just wanted to make sure that wasn't another one. Are there any further general closing announcements? Seeing none, I'll move into mine very briefly. I don't have a whole lot to add. President Holliday largely hit on a lot of what we've been up to lately. There are a lot of exciting things going on. I would remind you that on October 28th, I want to say it again so you can put it in your calendar. We'll have a retreat. It'll be fun. We'll learn some things. It's going to be a great experience, and we really hope that you block off that time now so it's not a conflict later on. And also, in about 12 hours from now, President Holliday, our Director of Governmental Affairs, Becker, and I will be at the Board of Regents meeting, and so I'll definitely have some pretty insightful comments for you all next week about what's going on there, specifically with DEI is one of the major priorities of ours right now. And so with that, I'll yield my closing comments to Vice Speaker Kamstra.
All right, I kind of have a few. So thank you to those who reached out about the QR code for office hours. It should be up and running. There was an issue with like the timing on it. Make sure you fill it out with your Iowa State email. If you fill it out with a personal email, it won't let you. So that's also a note, fill it out with your Iowa State email. It does close Sunday at 10 p.m., which is the time that the MU closes and the last time for you to get your office hour in. So make sure to fill it out before then. Otherwise, you'll probably see an email from me. Reminder, office hours count as half of a nonfeasance, so you get one chance, and then your second one, you'll get a nonfeasance. And then reminder to read the attendance policy and get notes to myself or Speaker Hackbarth by noon 12 today, or like the day of the meeting in the future, so next Wednesday at noon. If you need to leave early, come late, or we'll be missing the Senate meeting.
According to our official attendance policy, they need to alert us 24 hours in
Oh,
advance.
that's been changed to 24 hours. So 6 p.m. on Tuesday. My apologies. Thanks for the correction. Went to go get the printer today. They were sold out. They sold 3 of them in a week, apparently. So we're going to order it online, and it should get here hopefully by Friday, but potentially Monday, depending on when we order it. And then I'd like to congratulate you all. Like, great debate tonight. Great job, like, doing your due diligence, representing your constituents well by asking good questions, making sure that we've been thorough. Great work. Keep it up. Just want to encourage that. And then please fill in the MIS, including the committees you're on. October 1st, I'll be going through and checking to make sure that everybody's on a committee, and also make sure to put your birthday in there for our PR committee and for myself, so I can wish you a happy birthday. That's all I have.
Okay.
Speaker Akbar.
Beautiful. Okay. So, committees, yes, if you are not currently on a committee or if you were sat tonight, there is at the bottom of the Senate agenda, and you will also receive an email from me tomorrow including this information. It is the Committee Applications 2023-24 document. It has all of our committees that you can sit on. You are required to sit on at least one. We recommend an internal committee or a student government-based committee, but you are more than welcome to sit on an external or university/city committee. If you have not been sat, or if you are just joining us and you haven't had the opportunity to get involved, take a look over that and reach out to the respective director about joining that committee. For the MIS, have at-larges also fill out the MIS so we know how to contact them. I know we've had some at-larges sat. Heck, we just sat 10 of them tonight. So make sure that they are filled into the MIS so we know how to contact them. And then also put your information on the committee page so we know what committee you're sitting on. It's going to make it a lot easier than Kamstra and I having to comb through bills from weeks prior. It should be the second tab on the stugov MIS. It should say committee availability. Just plop your name in there if you're a senator. For bills, please send them to both Kamstra and I going forward. Kamstra brought 2 bills to the table tonight, and I brought 2 bills, and then we had finance bills. It's easier if you send it to both of us so that we are on the same page and we can get the amendments laid out before we come to Senate. Keeps things a little bit nicer and running a little bit smoother. You can reach out to us at our roll account emails. Vice Speaker Kamstra's is stugov.v.speaker@iastate.edu, and mine is stugov.speaker@iastate.edu, or reach out to us on Teams. Lastly, directors, I think it's just a couple here. Please fill out the committee times that I sent you. Those are going to be very helpful for the future so that all of our senators know when and where the committee meets. And Senator Cecil, do you have anything that you needed to add?
Yeah, just a clarification for Vice Speaker Kamstra. You're accepting office hours outside the time that the office is technically open to students not in student government. Is that your intent? Because on Saturday and Sunday, the door to the West Student Office space is locked.
You will have key access if you.
Yes, but the intent of office hours is to be
Yeah,
accessible
yeah.
to students, so is your intent to accept those or not? That was just clarification.
I won't accept those because it's like laid out on the days that you can fill it out. Like you can only choose those days of the week, Monday to Friday, but just to fill it out if you missed it, more or less. So, especially for those that put sticky notes on it today.
Okay, with that, the part that we've all been waiting for, motion to adjourn, go Cyclones.
We're adjourned.